r/ask Reddit, what's something normal in America that is completely absurd in other countries? Having our drinks loaded full of ice. I talked to a Chinese exchange student and she was shocked at how everything had ice in it. In her country, offering hot water everywhere is the norm instead. Also heard an Irish guy ranting about how it was a complete waste of drink space. Medical debt. People in the US lose their life savings or acquire massive amounts of debt that require them to declare bankruptcy if they should first have the misfortune of getting sick or injured. A great deal of money is spent on politicians to make them convince us that we shouldn't change this. This one. As an Aussie who was in a massive car accident that had required me to have 44 operations to date, next one in 6 months, when I think of that, plus all the imaging, tests, medications, therapies, rehabs, etc., I can't imagine how I could have survived in the States. Here, it cost me sweet bugger all, I just pay $6.60 per script per month. Oh, and as I now live in a regional area, all my travel and accommodation to CDRS is covered as well. Adds to that, I'm on a disability pension, as I can't work, and have the NDIS which covers things like carers, cleaners, gardeners, plus special furniture and some house renovations, like the bathroom, to make it easier for me to use. The huge gap in the doors of public restrooms. Come to China. In rural areas, or truck stops you might encounter a row of toilets with no divider. And they're the squat variety. Once I was outside of Shanghai, and the newer bathroom was closed. The older one was just like a tiled room with some slope to it, and 2 channels down the middle. People at the top of the mountain would piss to create a river to wash away the poop of people below, who were hovering over the little urine river. It gets worse. One of the people made a lot of poop, making a poop dam causing the urine-poop mixture to flood the bathroom. Not advertising actual costs. If I go to the store, as with every other country I've been to, the price is what I pay. There are no extra taxes or required tips at checkout. Same in Australia, but it's GST instead of sales tax. But it must, by law, be included on the advertised price. To the extent that if they mismark the price on the shelf, accidentally leave a sale price up or whatnot, you are entitled to legally only pay that price. So they have to eat the loss if they leave the price marked down. It throws me every time I go to the USA to think, I don't know how much this will actually cost until I pay at the counter. Calling yourself, insert nationality here, when you and multiple generations of your family were born and raised in the US, you've never lived in / possibly never even visited said country, don't speak the language, and your only connection is a distant relative who emigrated from that country over 100 years ago. Yup. I'm Irish and deal with a lot of Americans in my job. I always get, oh you're Irish, I'm Irish too, and then it turns out they had a great-grandmother who emigrated to the US in the 1800s. Commercials pushing medication in TV ads. Stock footage of a woman in a light summer dress running through a field in slow motion whilst the voiceover guy says Absurdinox can help sufferers of chronic brain freeze by reducing symptoms of brain freeze by over 80%. Enjoy your summers again with Absurdinox. And the woman continues to run through the field very slowly while a different voice mumbles the side effects, which luckily do not affect stock footage woman, for a full 20 seconds. I had seen this sort of commercial satirized in movies, but when I went to the US I was surprised to find they really are like that. Paying thousands of dollars for an ambulance. You only get charged if you actually get in the ambulance and it takes you to a hospital. If it arrives and you deny medical assistance, which you are legally allowed to do, there's no charge to be paid because no service was rendered. Yay, but if you aren't conscious and one is called, you have no say in the matter. Speaking from experience, for when one was called for me and I owed over $2,000 while I was a poor college student. First thing I said when I woke up in the hospital was, I can't afford this, I didn't ask to be here, let me go home. That should not be anyone's first thought after a near-death experience. Edit: the ambulance was $2,000 alone, the hospital bill was more than that. Fascinating about USA: 1. Their credit card system, or whatever you call it. I just don't get it. 2. Also, from what I've seen from movies and TV shows, the water levels in American toilets are too high compared to the water levels in my country, though I'd get that's just an American thing or not. 3. Flags. They are everywhere. 4. The fact that in many cities in USA, if you don't have a car, you're screwed. 5. Driving a car at 14, 15, 16. Your food on your plate. In the United States, that means the food was good. Why is that? Seems wasteful. I think I read somewhere that in some places finishing your entire plate could imply that the meal wasn't filling enough. The host may be expected to provide more food because you haven't had enough if you eat it all, I gather. And thus it can seemingly be considered rude to the host to finish it all. Having public lands/forests to hike, explore, fish, etc. A lot of countries don't have land you can just go and hunt or explore in. I think we take that for granted. A lot of our hobbies are only for rich people in other parts of the world. The medical system. I'm not American. My wife gave birth to twins, multiple semi-complications, 6-day hospital stay. We opted for private room. Total cost: about $1,000. A week before the twins came, a mirror fell on my wrist. Severed 8 tendons, nerve, artery. Driven to local ER, immediate transfer to major center, placed first on triage list, and was in surgery with the head of the plastics department in less than 2.5 hours after the accident. Multiple day hospital stay. Discharged. Horrific nerve pain. Follow-up care from a pain specialist clinic, as well as follow-up care, bi-weekly to monthly meetings, with the head of the plastics department, orthopedic appointments. Total cost was $40 for the ambulance. And people I told were generally outraged I was billed at all, as it was a necessary transfer trip, not an outcall. Gonna stay in Canada for the long haul, thanks. Not sure how there's not riots in the streets of the state of medicine in the US. Not like y'all can't afford it or otherwise make it happen. The state doesn't tell you how much taxes you owe, yet you can go to jail if you don't pay the correct amount. Also, employees often have to bring their own work utensils. Like mechanics who have to buy toolboxes with their own money first so they can use them for work rather than their employer giving them what they need to do the job. Handing over your bank card to the waiter/waitress to process payment. I would, under no circumstance, hand over my bank card like that. How am I going to know if you're not going to clone it? I either pay in cash or you bring the machine to me for payment. How and why are Americans so comfortable with this? Almost everything. Lol. Off the top of my head, tipping 18 to 20% of a restaurant bill, moving away to college at age 18, going into massive debt to go to college sports games having 6,100k people in attendance, driving a car being 100% of one's transportation, having a medium soda be like over 1 liter. Seemingly everything important is still on paper and requires you to go into an office somewhere. I have a friend who just moved there, and every interaction with the government has been a story out of the 80s. This, combined with the use of actual checks and no easy direct transfer between bank accounts, makes me really wonder why American society is so computer and internet averse for stuff that actually matters. I was in America last week and the amount of food these people eat. I am unhealthy, I am overweight, but it's because of what I eat/drink, not how much I eat. With them, the quantities I think are as much to blame as the quality. I went into a place for breakfast and ordered some pancakes and the waitress asked me if I want eggs and bacon with that. Are you mad, woman? Of course not. Why would I want eggs and bacon with my massive portion of pancakes? But looking at the other tables, that's clearly perfectly normal. I didn't even finish the pancakes. Oh, their bacon's horrible, that's another reason I wouldn't want it. One of the biggest and most anticipated celebrities consist in buying expensive crap at 12 a.m. in the middle of winter on cold streets surrounded by hundreds, if not thousands of people, in a celebration called Black Friday. Capitalism at its finest. Eating out almost every day is a weird concept to me. I know not all people of America do it, but people's perception about America is so in my country. Also, I once was told by my friend, that many of her American university mates only drink sparkling water, soda water instead of water. I was shocked by this, but I realize now, not every American does this. Eating other people's food apparently. I always see those stories on Reddit about colleagues eating the food of others. They have to write their name on the food and even then they steal it. Now that sounded very weird to me. But now I know someone who had lived in America for a few years. And he said that that was a thing in America. He had a friend over for a sleepover and in the middle of the night he found a box with cereal and started eating it. Without asking. So yeah. That sounds absurd to me, but apparently in America it's normal, or at least more common, to 1. Take other people's food without asking and 2. Snack in the middle of the night. Intimidating military recruiters, hanging around at shopping malls whilst lying to teenagers and making them think that they're going to be war heroes like in COD, when in actual fact it's not a decision that should be taken so lightly. You're being paid to fly around the world, murder people, get shot at, blown to bits in a foreign country, and essentially come back with world-redefining PTSD and, as I understand it as a Brit, get tipped out on the pavement, thanked for your service, and generally told to fuck off and deal with the night terrors and flashbacks all by yourself. Sure, when you walk into a shop, people will get all patriotic and call you a hero, but that doesn't pay the bills, and you can't get a job because of all your psychological difficulties. Yay, America. College debt. I literally don't understand this one. In Nigeria, you pay your own way through the university. Unless you're on scholarship and a sponsor, a person or company or whatever, is paying for you. If not, you're going to have to find the money, tuition and books and accommodation and feeding, somehow. It's one of the major reasons why some people drop out or don't go at all. Complicated tax forms. Where I live the IRS knows what I made last year, they know what I paid on mortgage, they mostly know what I paid in dividends tax on my stocks, and they just fill in that shit and ask me to check and confirm. Meanwhile you guys have TurboTax and other companies lobbying to keep tax forms complicated just so they can make money by helping you fill them in. Being asked hi, how are you doing? By strangers. Asking strangers how are you doing? For courtesy. That whole you can turn right even on a red light thing I never understood. Being scared of the police. Tipping. Super low speed limits. Veteran discounts. Big respect for the military. US flags everywhere. Having meals while drinking milk. Naming kids exotic sounding names that mean completely random things in other languages like, Kavli, or giving kids surnames as names. Love for mustard and hate for mayo. Their serving sizes. I watched a video and if I'm remembering this right, correct me if I'm wrong, their small is bigger than our large. Australia, and large isn't even the biggest size for a lot of things. That's horrifying to think about. And then they have places like the Heart Attack Grill that completely glorify the idea of obesity. Honestly so gross to think about how normalized massive portions of unhealthy ass food and obesity are. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe or you will be put in a toaster.